Hey, Halftime Howie here with my co-producer Rocco Passafuime is going to interview Bigtime3. Going to get the behind the scenes of how they started and their music and how their career is on the rise. So I give it to my friend Rocco Passafuime.
Thank you very much, Howie. Yes, this here is Bigtime3 with us, and let me just go around the room to you two. Give me your names and where you're from.
So my name is Matt Wolf, and I'm from Plainview, New York, and Long Island.
And I'm Vin Avalon. I'm from Bayside, Queens.
Okay. Tell us, gentlemen, what made you guys say this is what I wanted to do in terms of doing, music in the first place, and particularly why electronic dance music, or as we call it, EDM?
So I would say both of us met, 20 years ago? Yeah, we've been lifelong friends, family friends for 20 or so years, and we were going to this resort upstate. It's called Villa Roma, and tons of family and friends there. Probably, probably one of the best times that we have. We go there a couple weeks a year, and we just got into the music there, and just it's very family oriented, and everyone's always partying. They're always dancing or sing along, stuff like that. And we started just downloading music back 2005.
Yeah,
back when even in the Napster days, 2001, 2002, and everyone remembers that.
Days, yeah.
Beginning of digital music days.
Yeah. So we started messing around.
we started messing around with that, and then we got 16, 17. There was a club there, and we just were asked one time just to play music because we were always up on music.
The DJ was away for the night, couldn't make it, and then we ended up filling in that night.
So just bunch of kids, a bunch of silly teenagers. We just walked in there. We didn't even have any equipment, but we had a laptop, and they had like their old mixer and stuff. Like they have a whole sound system. It's a club, and we just played there. And then ever since that happened,
our friends started knowing that we were DJing. So every time they would recommend us, it's been mad, Bigtime3. Let them go up on.
We started doing weddings, sweet 16s.
They started recommending us, and then we started getting booked.
We started getting booked at bigger places and bigger clubs, and every now and then when we go there, we'll be doing we'll do maybe one show. It's really a vacation for us to be there, but when we walk in now, we turn it into
we'll be DJing by the poolside or
poolside DJing during the day,
yeah,
and sometimes the small bars there.
Right.
Just depends. And now when we went up there last time, we had just got signed like the week before, so we couldn't. We wanted to play the song, but we couldn't release it yet, so we played only bits and pieces of it.
But the anticipation was real because everyone kept asking us questions like, "When's it coming out?" No, this and that.
Now, to answer your question about how we got into more like electronic, obviously we follow other big DJs that are all over the radio, and we appreciate their music, and it's just you get motivated just by listening to other DJs and seeing other people succeed to just why don't we give this a shot? And we're always writing, we talk every day.
Always brainstorming.
Always brainstorming ideas, and we just got this motivation one day, just to let's sit down and take our ideas and just put it to actually something that would make sense. And we got together with Spike Rin, and we worked on a beat, and we had a beat that day. We had an idea what we wanted to do.
We had the lyrics written.
Had the whole song written already, and you just have to find the piano that makes sense, the keys in the piano that make sense.
And the vocals that would match.
The vocals that would match. And it's been a year and a half since we started working on this track, and here we are.
How'd you guys come up with the name Bigtime3?
So everyone always asks us Bigtime3.
Common question.
And we like to refer to it as, just like a positivity thing, and it's just more or less.
So three's been like a lucky number.
Three's been lucky,
you say
and
this and that,
big time was always like we've been saying it like when they have a sports show and like a big play happened and they're like
it's a big
time
term
play,
that's used already. So
it's kind of used all over the place,
right.
And just people know us by I guess you could say my name is Matt, this is Vin, but it's just quicker. You say big time, it's loud, it's in your face, and there's a lot of energy behind it. So. Bigtime3 is just something that would represent us. We have a lot of energy.
People remember.
People know our face, and they know that we like to have fun and we like to get the party going.
What particular influences in music, either like music that you loved or other people in EDM have shaped your sound basically?
So, I guess 70s and 80s music was always great.
Always a
great sound to it. Every I guess decade has their own sound, and just a lot of electronic songs are based off of these 80s and 90s hits, and if you listen to them, they have the same chord progressions, and it's really interesting how it all comes together. That's how it's funny when we mix songs, we're able to play an 80s song like on top of an electronic song, and they have the same keys, so you're able to just mix them in and mesh them well together. So artist-wise, I mean, Michael Jackson is just huge, just our motivation. That's just like one of
the Bee Gees,
the style, the Bee Gees, bunch of that. Barry White's also great.
Barry White's another one.
We're even 50s and 60s guys.
Yeah.
So
a little bit of rock and roll there too.
A little bit of rock and roll, and that's what the resort is too. It's a lot of this stems from the resort and the music that was great in the resort, like Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, like of course, stuff like that. A lot of DJs nowadays, they don't know like a bunch of those oldies guys, so it's kind of cool that we can relate to the older crowds. So even if there's older people in a club, we know what to play, and they'll come up to us and be like, we haven't had that much fun since when we were teenagers. So current DJs right now, motivation or inspiration from Millennium is really great. He's been around for a couple years, and he's just starting to get big now. Now he's all over the radio. I would say, Avicii is also really inspiring, just like his whole story too, and what he has to go through. And he's, sick sometimes, and he couldn't even tour a couple of the times. Chainsmokers, obviously, they're from New York, and I've followed them when they were like playing little stages. We were at shows 6 years ago, and they were playing like tiny little places, nothing bars in the city, and it's just funny that we used to go to those places when we took pictures with them, and like they were just like, oh, those are the DJs, let's take pictures. And that's when we were kind of getting into it, and then now look at them now, they're all over the radio. So big inspiration just from all their success.
The way they did. So cool.
So we have your first single, which is Moving On, and a big part of EDM is a lot of collaborating, and you have a lot of people that you employ to have remixes on the single. Talk about some of the people. Talk about the person that you collaborated with, and then also talk about the people that are on the remixes of all the tracks.
Well, for the remixes, we signed with the record label 418, which is based in Philadelphia. So when they heard our track, like, oh, this is something along the lines of what we signed, what's the style and everything. So they have their remixes, like Stonebridge, one of the biggest ones, on their label who does remixes for them, and then they would send it out, like Dragos, another one, like all the big ones that they have. Once they heard our song, they're like, oh, we could work with this, we could do something big with this. So they put their inspiration to what we had, and then they combined it together, and then, as you heard, very powerful remixes that they made. So, but the collaboration, like Spike Grin, who we collaborated with, he was very helpful in producing the track, because he came up with his own beats and what the melody should be, and we started off from there. And then once we had the vocals, we got our vocalist who we thought fit well, and then we just combined it together, and that's what made the hit.
Some local talent too. We have Steady and Hybrid Heights, which are
Heights,
they're all over
as well.
Long Island too. They're local. They remix it. Scotty Boy's great.
Mark Hagan is
Mark Hagan's another
big one.
We can also maybe give you. We can give you that too. You can listen to that and play it. And it's just everyone has their own energy, and not everyone can remix a track though. A lot of artists these days work where they need to connect with the track in some way, shape, or form. And other people approach these artists, and I'm like, how many people approach? And he's just like, there's hundreds of people that approach us, and maybe 1 or 2 songs stand out. And just for them to get that much like inspiration and motivation to remix it and just do their own thing, and it was just great. Like every week I'd be like, hey, listen to this, like this is happening. And
they put a lot of passion into it as well.
A lot of passion, a lot of time.
They would back to us like, we're frustrated, we can't get to this next part of the song that we want to do. And that means it's good for them to feel it as well as what we felt the song was going to be.
And they're not going to just like make something, just white label it and like, here you go. This is something that they put time into, and it took us like a month to get all the remixes back, and there's so much time.
But the patience paid off.
Yeah, patience definitely paid off, because look where we are now.
I'm looking forward to working on our next track and having a remix as well.
Right. In terms of, this is your debut single. How do you want people to define like the Bigtime3 sound? Like, what will be your style of electronic dance music specifically?
I would say our style is, everyone wants to have a certain sound. You have like a unique sound. Each DJ always looks for their sound, and for us, we want to be able to play music that just incorporates a lot of different elements where different genres can vibe to it, and you want to play music that's going to make people dance. You ever hear like music where like it's played on the radio but they don't play it in the clubs? Now there's a reason why, because if you play that song in a club, it's just like it's either too slow,
Right.
or it's too loud, or there's just too much going on in the song. So we want to play music that is going to make people want to dance and have a good time and feel something. We want people to feel something when they listen to our music and when we play it in our sets. So
you start nodding your head, that means you did the job right. Right.
You see people dancing, like that's more important for us than anything else, is people having a good time. So we want to create music where there's melodies that people can connect to, sing along to, it's catchy, and also to help people get through certain times and experiences in their life. And Moving On is a prime example of that, where we were going through something hard, and there's just sometimes you just got to put it behind you and move on from there. And we hope that when people listen to our song, it can help them through an experience and take something away from it, not just listen to it and like go in one ear out the other. Just take a little token from that song and incorporate it into their life.
Every song has to have a meaning to it, and someone can relate to. So that's the message we try to push across.
Well, what is it about, like, what would be the big, like, the reason why people say, like I want to go to see these guys do a set? Like, what would you tell the public to say, like, I would like to go see Bigtime3 do a set, wherever it may be?
The excitement that we bring to each of the shows that we try to, each time, the high energy, the crowd will always go wild. That's the goal every time going into it. We did a show in Webster Hall actually last year in April, and the main thing was that, yeah, we have the content, we have our music, this and that, but the high energy, that was our main goal. Like, we had glow sticks, we were jumping up and down a little bit, like that. Everyone was relating to it. The crowd was going crazy, they were catching this and that, they were screaming our names at the end, That's the point, of be able to relate to us and just be excited and remember who we are. Not just be the boring people who are just playing music.
We don't want to just stand there and just like every other place you go to where it's just like, okay, well, this is a job, and okay, when do I get to go home? And it's just like we're being a DJ and then going to see someone do that, it's just kind of disappointing to the fans who actually really care, are really passionate about the music, and people coming to your show. That's huge. That's the fans you want to keep. Those are the fans you want to keep around, and you're not going to keep fans around if you just go there and do nothing less but you want to throw a party at every show. You want to make people want to come back and see you. So we try to bring lights. We bring out lights. We throw lights into the crowd. We'll throw sometimes T-shirts. We have wristbands that we throw out to the crowd. We do crowd pictures. We'll take pictures with fans after shows and put them up on Instagram just to show the fans that we appreciate them and we don't forget about the fans. So we try to bring a party and give people an experience where we'll play a song that might be something to trigger their childhood, or we'll play a song that everybody knows that they weren't expecting. So we like to be unpredictable, I would say.
Oh, very good.
That's what helps them remember you. Stuff like that. Unpredictableness, the high energy, because as we said, no one wants a dull, boring show.
Right,
you want to remember who we are.
No, of course.
But I want to go to the next show.
Yes.
So.
Who would be like the ultimate person that you would like to collaborate and have do a remix with in the future?
Someone that we know. Let's see.
Big artist?
Big artist?
Runs the gamut, whoever.
Maybe Don Diablo, maybe?
Don
someone
Diablo.
we follow him. His kind of style. So maybe
Don Diablo incorporates like 80s, 90s pianos a little bit, and they're very, very reminiscent. Everyone knows that piano. It's the M1 piano, and he just incorporates that into a lot of his songs, and a really nice instrument. And
we're starting to work with that as well. So.
We're starting to work with that too. We like that kind of piano.
So that kind of style.
It's kind of like Moving On. We kind of incorporated it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don Diablo's big. We also would like to work with Jaws. He's a dubstep trap DJ, and I've met him before. He met him at another show, and he just was guy who just went to
Very
production
down to earth
school,
person. Right?
very down to earth, very humble. But
Yeah.
like he throws these crazy parties. But you talk to him and he goes, everyone thinks that I was just this guy who just automatically became
Made it big
famous.
overnight,
but no, like
he told us his journey.
he told us his journey, and like that was more motivation for us. And seeing people like that, like they actually do those kinds of things. They start out from nothing and they just work at it. And this is a daily basis. It's every day. It's
Grind.
maybe we'll lose a couple hours of sleep, but it'll pay off in the long term.
The sacrifice does pay off in the long run.
Oh, to add to this question, what about singers or rappers that you'd be interested in collaborating with?
Singers. That's a good question. Singer-wise, let's see. So, what'd you think of?
BB Rexa, that's
Maybe,
a really nice
something
one.
like that.
Martin Garrix,
Well, Martin Garrix, I was
of course,
say that.
did a song with her, and she has a beautiful voice, and she's very talented. Working with, I don't know if we want to spoil it, but we posted it, and
Working with Robbie Rosen, but no, on next
Robbie's very talented,
very well known.
so talented, and he's just so inspirational to us. And it's great collaborating with a singer because everyone has their different take on it, and to see where we're coming from, see where he's coming from, and you just see the smile on their face just get so wide when they hear something that we produced, and that even makes us happy, and that lets us go home with a good feeling on the inside.
He felt like, I could fit right in. I know what I could do with this, to make it even better. So, different opinion on it.
And he's
keep
from Long
working on it.
Island, and he was on American Idol.
Finalist on American Idol.
Which is crazy to think about, that we're working with an artist that made it that far.
Yeah, he tells us stories, we can change about this, about that. And
so we help him in certain ways,
Right.
media aspects, and then he helps us just with writing. And we sat in his house and we just said, hey, here's our idea, and then 1, 2, 3, we had a song.
Brought him to the studio, and he worked wonders.
Yeah, working with artists that are experienced is probably the best thing you can
They
do.
know what they're talking about.
It's because you go in, you get what you need to get done, and get a good take.
No fluff around, it's straight business.
What do you hope for Bigtime3 to achieve in not only EDM but in just music in general? Like, what do you guys hope to achieve in music in the next couple of years?
Well, it would be great for us to play one of the really, really big, clubs. Not even, I guess, Madison Square Garden, like DJs play there. Obviously, you have Billy Joel there sometimes. Barclays Center, we've seen shows at the Barclays Center. That would be great to do that. There's clubs in DC that we'd like to go to. We just like to go to a tour and just reach people all over the world and go to all the big establishments down there.
As well as play for festivals.
Play for festivals. Those are what we're really aiming for. So Electric Zoo. Electric Zoo is a festival at Randall's Island and Labor Day weekend, and we've been going to that for a while. And it's funny that we were going there a couple years ago, and it's just like we weren't really into it as much as we are now, and we would just go there, listen to our favorite DJs, and then
now we go and we analyze the music. When a different DJ would be on, we'd be like, oh wait, that's cool, that's a good idea, this and that. Things that we could maybe use in out tracks, this and that. And then it's like, oh wow, we could be on stage, we could be like, we'll go the crowd going nuts. Like, this is what we want to be, this is what we want to do. So that's the kind of the lines that we want to.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. This is Bigtime3. Thank you guys for your time. And the name of the single is called Moving On. You can get it either on streaming or on download sites. And it's been a real pleasure having you guys here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.